Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's start. Important chapter, very important. Why I'm saying important? Because if you see from the perspective of middle class, people ask what's there in the budget of for the middle class. This chapter shows what happened to the middle class in the last financial year. Okay, so this is chapter number 9 है ना. इसमें थोड़ा करेक्शन आएगा. चैप्टर नंबर 9 है ना. स्लाइड में करेक्शन रह गया. दिस इज इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. सो डिजाइनर साहब से थोड़ी गलती हो गई. ओके. CUT PG का आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ करंट अफेयर्स आर देयर इट इज हेल्पफुल समृद्धि, अदरवाइज इट इज नॉट. ठीक है. बट एनीवे स्टडिंग इकोनॉमिक्स विल ऑलवेज हेल्प. नाउ इन्वेस्टमेंट इन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. Here main agenda of economic survey, okay, says from public push to private pull. Okay, a beautiful line given by survey. Okay, from a public push to private pull. Okay, from a public push to a private pull, it means we can say somewhat like crowding in effect, where government shows or act like an example and private sector follows. Now when you see the core aspect of this particular chapter, okay, in this particular chapter, this opens economic survey the most and the long standing problem. It means India grew for years without a strong private investment cycle. Okay, today I was talking to one of the senior professor. He's pure leftist. He studied in JNU and all. Okay, he said that India grew on the back of domestic consumption. So if you see before 1991, domestic consumption means whatever we are consuming in our country, on the basis of that India grew. But when we opened the market in the year 1991, we saw private participation. But in those years also, it means since 1991 till 2026, you can say 35 years since economic reforms. So India grew for years without a strong private investment cycle. Despite we have seen a high growth rate period between 2003 and 2007, and we are experiencing demographic advantage as well. We have young population, okay, and we have huge amount of domestic market size, but still private investment remained cautious. When I was teaching you the monetary and fiscal policy, if you remember in those chapters, I have explained how India is facing lack of access to capital and lack of access to affordable capital. So survey said that this issue was not lack of capital, but lack of confidence. If you invest in India, investors' confidence is low. You see people in Dubai, they are investing. All over the world, people are investing in Dubai. The reason is stable government, predictable government policy. So here in this module, we will discuss about investment and infrastructure, and we will discuss about strengthening connectivity, capacity, and competitiveness. Okay, so let's begin. Let's begin the chapter with the proper first slide. Now, infrastructure is important. If you see the NDA government, when it came for the first time in 1999 to 2003, and then again you can see in recent years, this NDA government focused heavily on infrastructure, and infrastructure is the growth driver. If you see any developed countries in the past, infrastructure development was worked as a backbone. Okay, now what kind of infrastructure? So we see different kind of infrastructure. Okay. So infrastructure investment became central to India's growth strategy. Like you see, what it did not happen in last 70 years, happened in last 10 years. What I'm saying is, Vande Bharat train. India did not have any high speed rail, but recently we got Vande Bharat train. And Vande Bharat train works as a catalyst in the transportation sector. So if you build infrastructure, if you build connectivity, like government is building tunnels, all weather tunnel, Atal tunnel, Nasri Chinani tunnel, if you remember, then Vande Bharat on the river over Chenab. So you see that is boosting all weather connectivity. So supply chain, people travel, everything goes smooth. So the shift in the approach, it means it has focus has moved beyond just building assets to creating integrated, efficient, and competitive infrastructure network. Okay. Rising public capex, you can see government has been increasing capital expenditure. Okay. Institutional planning reforms like PM Gati Shakti. Yesterday we had discussed about Gati Shakti a lot. Logistic modernization, because our economy is moving towards e-commerce. So national logistic policy, platforms like ULIP are digitizing logistics, lowering the transaction cost, enhancing manufacturing competitiveness. When you order from your mobile phone with the help of Instagram or Facebook app, that order goes to the factory where we get enhancing the manufacturing sector. Expansion of digital public infrastructure like BharatNet, 5G, UPI, Aadhaar, DigiYatra, FASTag, all helping the India's growth pace, growth speed. Okay. And that is becoming inclusive as well with the help of technology. It is inclusive. So survey talks about that infrastructure as a growth driver, but there were constraints as well. Constraints on the balance sheet. If you remember 2017, I know that you don't remember. 2017 economics survey mentioned about twin balance sheet problem. So 2017-18, it was twin balance sheet problem. It means balance sheet of industries and balance sheet of banks. Both were under stress. So over leveraged corporates and stressed banks. So banks were very cautious. So NPA also at a historically low. So even the low interest rate cannot revive investment when you have twin balance sheet problem. Okay, twin balance sheet problem is simple. If bank will give loan to a particular firm or industry, if that firm or industry is not able to grow, then the balance sheet of that firm or that particular industrial firm and the balance sheet of bank both will struggle. That is what we call twin balance sheet problem. So even if you lower the interest rate, still no effect will be on the economy. Okay, makes sense? Clear? That is what we call twin balance sheet problem. So after the balance sheet will heal, then only interest rate will be come into the picture. Okay. So there's a concept in core economics known as liquidity trap. Okay. Under liquidity trap, there's no reaction to the decreasing rate of interest rates. Okay. Now, three pillars of infrastructure growth strategy. Very simple: sustained public capex, crowding in private investment, and diversified long-term financing. So you can say here government's contribution, private contribution, and finances. So not just bank, but via capital markets. So need for better project execution. Time and cost overruns remain concerned due to weak project preparation. Time and cost overruns are very simple. Like for example, a project is expected to complete in nearby area. Okay, I have seen a project of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. That project was expected to be completed in 2021, but due to COVID and all, then change in the contractor, the project will will be expected to complete in June 2026. So you can see 5 years of time overrun, and when time overrun, everything becomes costly. Tiles, cement, sand, etc. So cost overrun are also there. Okay, I hope you are able to understand. Just write clear in the chat box if things are clear. So project execution is important for us. Okay. This is the graph of government capex continue to rise. You can see. Okay. Enhancing infrastructure financing and private participation. Now, shift in infrastructure financing model. India is moving away from over reliance on bank lending towards diversified financing ecosystem like NBFCs, capital market, and investment REITs are playing a growing role in funding long gestation infrastructure project. Long gestation, you understand? So if I invest, suppose for example, 100 crore rupees in 2026 as a government, okay, 100 crores. Now, suppose for example, in 2028, I will start earning money from it. So suppose for example, I earned the first rupee in 2028. So from 26 to 28, 2 years is the period which is called long gestation, which is called gestation period. And if it is more than 3, 5, 10 years, 20 years, it's called long gestation infrastructure. Okay. The only problem with the money market is money markets assets are for long term, but liabilities are of short term. It means if you ask your money back from the bank, and if bank has invested in the long term projects, then bank will struggle to repay. We have seen 2-3 banks happen. ILMFS crisis, okay, 2016. The diversification reduces asset liability mismatch for banks, improve financial system stability. Now, growing role of capital market. So capital market is important for long-term institutional capital. Like for example, pension fund. People don't withdraw pension. People just pay insurance premium, but they never withdraw. Okay. So that is why if you get those funds, access to those funds, government will get help. So capital market is helping in financing. Okay. Regulatory reforms in project finance. So regulatory reforms means here the more regulation, so like for example, improve treatment of project delays, prevent loan evergreening. Loan evergreening matlab debt trap, something like that. Loan never finished. Better identities, genuine stress, and alignment with harmonized master list of infrastructure ensures policy clarity. Strengthen PPP model. Okay, so that is where governments fund because government has a lot of fund, and private expertise. Okay, private expertise. So these are the things important for you. So PPP is bridging the India's infrastructure gap. Okay. India ranks among top global destination for private participation in infrastructure. Okay. Now institutional support for PPP. So you can see how government is helping that. Viability gap funding, I'll explain. This is important. Viability gap funding, if, for example, if you are running a flight, suppose for example, from Raipur to Varanasi. Now, if on this route, okay, that is not profitable for the company. To operate on this route, suppose for example, you need a 10 crore per month and you only get 7 crore in return. So what will the gap will be funded by government? Viability means to make it financial viable, operational. So 3-year PPP pipeline, large pipeline for bankable projects, standardization of model concession agreements, risk allocation frameworks, etc. Next phase of PPP reforms. So here you can say PPP reforms changing like general greater public role, land clearances, demand risk, etc. Focus on emerging sectors like health, education, green energy, urban services. And so again, we are focusing on next phase of PPP reforms. Now, public-private partnership, evolution of India's PPP framework. Since early 2000, India's PPP program has gone through a learning phase with early project stress, leading to model concession agreement, risk allocation, regulatory contractual. So here, what is important here? That government should support the private sector and private sector should timely deliver. Two things are there. So when you talk about road, ports, power, renewables, now show relatively matured PPP ecosystem. Previously, government was not taking the risk, but now government is providing funds and the risk both. Okay. Need for system level reforms. Okay. How system? Like for example, clear multi-year project pipelines. Strong linkages with PM Gati Shakti and National Infrastructure Pipeline. Better project preparation and pre-construction clearances. And still difficulties are there, but yes, it's better than the previous. What previously happening is better than. So move from project by project to market to building approach. Okay. So for example, you are building 5 towers in a housing society. Now you can take the approval of every apartment, every tower in this. So market building approach from project by project. Shift from contract to partnership. Contract में क्या होता था? It's like government is giving headache to the private sector. Partnership means government is also involved hand in hand. It's like social sector, health, education, urban services, green energy. So early stage there is a risk, so government should share this. Focus on long-term service outcome, not just financial closure. से पैसा दे देना ही काफी नहीं होता. You need to give support as well. Okay. Institutional policy support, so you can say this we have already discussed. So on the same lines, you can say institutions and policy support requires for the private investment to grow in India. Now, if you see core physical infrastructure, roads and highways, okay, so there are certain data. What important data is National Highway network expanded by 60% from 91,000 to 1.46 lakh kilometer. So you can remember this data. Okay, how much national highway? High speed corridor increased 10x from 550 to 5,000. Average annual highway construction more than doubled compared to pre-2014. And this year's target is 10,000 kilometer construction, half completed by December 2025. So we are running behind, but yes, 10,000 kilometer construction is also not a short. Okay, so target is 10,000, completed 5,000 by December. Now, raising public investment, capital expenditure on roads, highways rose early nearly 6 times since FY15. Sustained capex is improving capacity, durability, freight efficiency. Okay. Shift towards logistic efficiency, like focus is now on access controlled expressways, economic corridor, better port, industrial corridor, logistic park connectivity, and urban decongestion through ring roads and bypasses. Okay, in your city, you must have seen ring road is there. Okay, so suppose this is the city and all the roads are there. So one road they construct like this. Okay, it is called a ring road, bypassing the whole city. And in between, there are cuts to enter the city. Okay. Now, high speed corridor vision. So 26,000 kilometer high speed corridor by FY33. Designed to bring freight speeds closer to global standard. Right now, you see trucks are going slow. So if you have high speed corridor, if people will drive carefully, then it is good. Okay. PPP asset monetization, a strong push for private participation. 1.5 lakh crore plus already monetized by TOT. Toll operate transfer. And 13,000 kilometer PPP pipeline planned over next 3 years. So you can say asset monetization is going on. It means existing asset converting into money. Right? So that they can reinvest on other areas. Now, technology-driven construction, so drone survey, AI-based detection, automated machine. These are the things improving our construction planning and monitoring. ठीक है. Rural roads, inclusive connectivity like Gram Sadak Yojana achieved 99% of rural habitation connectivity. This I've seen from my eyes, at least in certain areas. Special focus on tribal and remote areas. Okay. And Gram Sadak Yojana to connect 25,000 more habitation. Okay. With upgraded GIS. Okay. Toll, operate, and transfer. You charge toll, you operate the road and everything, maintenance, and then you transfer it to the government. Okay, Gargi. So there are different model in PPP. Okay, that's the basic that we will study differently, not in economics. Now talking about railways. So railway remains central to India's infrastructure push, capacity expansion. This is very important. Modernization, multimodal integration. Okay, there was one committee in 2014, Bibek Devroy committee, although he's no more, but I had a great connection with him. He was the chairperson of Economic Advisory Council to Prime Minister. Okay. So he has done quite a transformation on Indian Railway. Now the coaches are more comfortable, more safe. You must have felt. And all are make in India. बाहर से इंपोर्ट होके नहीं आते, पहले जर्मनी से आते थे. नो. और क्या चाहिए देश को? People ask what's there for middle class. This is for middle class. Infrastructure. ठीक है. As of March, rail network stands around 70,000 route kilometer with a 3,500 kilometer added in FY26. Electrification has reached. So you will never see now diesel engine except for on a smaller lines, narrow gauge, medium gauge, etc. Okay. So rapid progress towards energy efficient operation. And this you must have seen, all electrification. Now key infrastructure initiative like economic railway corridors, PM Gati Shakti, 3 dedicated corridors, energy, mineral and cement. Support connectivity will be there. High traffic density aim to improve logistic efficiency. So this is how economic railway corridor. Then dedicated freight corridor. It means there are 2 types of train, passenger train and the goods train, that is what we call freight. Now they run on the same track. If you have dedicated freight network, okay, then it will help both passenger as well as goods train. Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train. Okay, Mumbai Ahmedabad, there is a Vande Bharat as well. People are substituting flight for Vande Bharat. Now, if bullet train will be there, so bullet train project has crossed 55% of physical progress, making a major technological leap in rail infrastructure. Now, some people will say, why do we need a bullet train? है ना, कुछ लोग होते हैं, उन्हें हर चीज से प्रॉब्लम है. Station redevelopment under the Amrit Bharat station scheme. These many station redeveloped. Capacity wise, accessibility wise, multimodal integration. Okay, executed by PPP mode. Then safety technology upgrades. Development of Kavach electronic interlocking automatic signaling. So large scale track renewal is improving safety throughout. Over 78% of track now supports speeds of 110 kilometers or more. This is a big achievement. Very big achievement. You can see here on the map. Bullet train can run as fast as possible because the track majorly is very much straight. Okay, public-private partnership growing with multiple projects completed and etc. Yes, Ravali. Now coming to civil aviation. Okay, civil aviation means domestic airlines. Okay, civil means hum log, civilian, non-military aviation means related to Hawai Jahaj. Now India has emerged as world's 3rd largest domestic aviation market. Rapid growth in air connectivity and passenger demand both. The number of airports has expanded from 74 in 2014 to 164. So you can say almost double. Regional access is improving. You see the development of airports, renovation of airports. Okay. Now, passenger traffic reached 412 million in FY 25 and expected to be this much. Air cargo is also steadily increasing because cargo reaching on time. You must have also seen in your life, your parents or anyone, they wanted to send something very, very quickly to some place. Okay, so air cargo will help. Right now, air cargo demand is less. So, Ode Desh Ka Aam Nagarik, this is the scheme, okay, operational for these many routes connected to 93 airports, heliports, and water aerodromes. So, this is Ode Desh Ka Aam Nagarik, very important scheme for regional connectivity. Then Greenfield Airport Policy, Brownfield and Greenfield, two terms used in infrastructure investment. Greenfield means new areas, new, first time airports. Okay. So if you are renovating the old one, it's Brownfield. If you are making a new, this is the. So 24 Greenfield Airport, you can say. Okay. Like Goa has two airports. Airport modernization and capacity expansion. Since FY20, airport modernization projects have increased combined passenger handling to around 575 million passengers per annum, easing congestion and improving passenger experience. Okay, the capacity is important to increase. Digital technology push. So again, you can say advanced air mobility, Digi Yatra, and PLI support for drone manufacturing. These things helping Indian economy. And legislative reform, Bharatiya Vayuyan Videyak 2025, replacing Aircraft Act of 1934, that is Colonial Act. Modernizing aviation governance, enhancing safety oversight, support innovation, align with India with global standards. Okay. Now this is air cargo, handling international and domestic, you can say, passenger traffic to all airports. You can see the rise. Ports and shipping, very important for India, ports and shipping. Now, India's maritime sector is becoming a key pillar of logistic efficiency, industrial growth, and global trade integration. This is a very important thing. Okay, these 3 points are important for your UPSC exam. Guided by Maritime India Vision 2030 or Amrit Kal Vision by 2047. So focus on port modernization, regulatory reforms, operational efficiency, and deeper private participation. Now, what happened, if suppose this is our port, okay, I only want to know, I only know South India with my drawing. I don't want to draw another Pokemon. So if a ship is coming from Dubai to Mumbai, it is very important that the turnaround time must be less. Okay, in Hong Kong and New Zealand, it is somewhere around 10 hours. In India, it has reduced to like 30 to 40 hours. So this is called turn around. Okay, TAT, turnaround time. TAT. So Indian ports have recorded strong growth in capacity and cargo throughout, supported by mechanization, small port system, and digital trade facilitation. Now, private participation in port-led development. India has strengthened the landlord port model, where port authorities retain ownership, core infrastructure, while private players operate terminals. PPP activity has expanded sharply, as you can see, from 37 to 87 in 10 years. 57 operational PPP projects, 660 million tons. Okay, so you can say port capacity is increasing. By 2030, it is also again expected to increase that. So ports are important because trade and India aim is to become the part of global value chain. So in that case, it is important. Now, these are legislative and regulatory reforms, not very important for you. But yes, these are the bills and acts. Merchant Shipping Act, Coastal Shipping Act, Indian Ports Act, Bill of Lending Act 2025. So there are several agenda for it. Not very important for your exam because it is related to law and regulatory reforms. Inland water transport, I hope you can understand. Inland means within India, not on ocean, but on rivers. Okay. So it's emerging as an important low-cost, eco-friendly logistic mode. 32 national waterways are operational. So see the kilometers. Cargo movement is rising sharply. So passenger movement through waterways is also increasing, and flagship project like Jal Marg Vikas project. Okay. National Waterways 1 multimodal terminal. So India aims this to increase by 5 from 2 to 5%. Cargo target says 200 and 500 by 2047. This is again very important shipbuilding push. So it is strengthening maritime self-reliance. The government approved 70,000 crore package for boosting shipbuilding. Okay. It means we will build a ship in our coastline. Inland water transport. So you can say this is again the similar slide comes in. Same slide, copy pasted twice. Coming on to energy sector. सहज बिजली हर घर योजना, सौभाग्य, दीनदयाल उपाध्याय ग्राम ज्योति योजना. Okay, so there are certain yojanas saw investment over 1.85 lakh crore. These villages electrified, and you see it is verified as well. 2.86 crore household electrified under Saubhagya. Revamped distribution sector scheme launched in 2021. And a 3 lakh crore outlay. So there are three things in every scheme. Okay, please write this line. Okay, it is outlay. Okay, then output, outlay, output, and outcome. Outlay means fund, output means data, and outcome means change. Okay, so when you see any scheme with perspective of UPSC, always see in these three perspectives. Just write clear in the chat box, everyone. Outlay, output, outcome. Always remember, whenever there's a question on scheme, do this. Okay, don't forget. Now discoms are very important. Discom means distribution companies. Distribution segment remains financially stressed with accumulated losses, high debt. So government brought certain reforms, which we call discom reforms. Late payment surcharge rules reduce overdue dues sharply. Automatic monthly fuel and power cost adjustment to avoid tariff shocks. Recognition of prudent cost and timely pass-through mechanism. Mandatory AT&C loss. Okay. Reduction trajectory, transmission and consumption loss. Okay. Then cost reflective tariff norms. Structured recovery of legacy gap, performance linked funding under RDSS. I'll tell you one thing. Okay. If you have seen these kind of towers nearby, these are like high-speed line where energy is regulated. Now we cannot store electricity. We can regulate the electricity. Okay. Okay, but in the distribution there are losses. Okay, so that government is trying to reduce it. Legislative reforms. So the proposed electricity bill 2026. What this bill will do? Introducing regulated competition distribution, promoting cost reflective tariffs, strengthening payment security for generators, enhancing regulatory accountability, while protecting subsidy supply for vulnerable consumers. Okay. This marks a shift towards a more competitive, accountable, and financial sustainable power market structure. Okay. Renewable energy, very important. India is doing really well in renewable energy, especially solar. Okay. So, in simple sense, India is making its clean energy transition very well. And this is the important target, 500 gigawatt from non-fossil fuel capacity by 2030 and net zero by 2070. Everyone remembers this data. Capacity expansion. India is among the world's leading renewable energy producer, especially solar and wind. If you see South India, a lot of windmills are there. And especially in Tamil Nadu, you will see when you travel from NH7, which is Varanasi to Madurai via Dindigul, you'll find a lot of windmills there. So Tamil Nadu on NH7. NH7 runs from Varanasi to Kanyakumari. Larger scale solar parks, rooftop solar, hybrid renewable projects, etc. Wind energy development continues. High potential states already identified by the government, and they are installing these big fans. Have you seen those? Yes, no, anyone? Have you seen those from from your eyes, from your naked eyes? These are huge, है Looks like small, but when you see in real life, these are huge. मतलब अपने बिजली के खंभे बराबर तो एक ब्लेड होगा इनका, है ना? Yes, very large. If they run very slowly, still they produce a lot of wind. Okay. Yes, very good. So those who have seen, enjoy. Those who haven't, see nearby wherever possible. PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli promotes rooftop solar adoption. Okay. PM Kusum support solar pump, decentralized renewable, solar park scheme, ultra mega renewable energy, National Green Hydrogen Mission. Okay. PLI schemes for solar PV modules, etc. Okay. These are the initiatives very important for your exam. Okay. Just remember the names. If you remember the names, you will be able to get marks. Okay. So this is important slide. Okay. Now grid integration. Okay, let's see what it is. So rising renewable penetration focus has shifted to energy storage system, green corridors, and flexible thermal power to maintain grid stability. Now battery storage, pumped hydro projects, transmission upgrades are being scaled up to manage the variability. Okay. Voice not audible. Fine for Aditi. Audible, Gargi. ऑडिबल? चलो बेटा आप अपना एक बार नेटवर्क चेक कर लो, अदरवाइज यू रीजॉइन. ठीक है, आज भी हम एक पैराग्राफ लिखेंगे, है ना? एक्साइटेड फॉर द पैराग्राफ, द होल समरी ऑफ द चैप्टर. फ्यूचर रेडी डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, telecommunication very important, industry 4.0 application, future ready digital economy. So country has one of the world's largest telecom networks, rapid expansion in broadband and mobile penetration. ठीक है. Network expansion connectivity, India has 1.2 billion telephone subscribers. 1.2 billion है किसे? 120 करोड़. Rapid rollout of 5G services across major cities, district positions, etc. Expansion of optical fiber. I've seen from my eyes. I went to Andaman in 2018. Hardly any network to send a WhatsApp message. I went again in 2021 after Prime Minister Modi went to Andaman and laid the foundation optical fiber from Chennai underneath. okay, seabed, and I saw drastic change. I took class from Port Blair. Recently, the name changed, Sri Vijayapuram. So he went and changed the name. Obviously, I favor the name change activity. People like Havelock Island, Ross Island, but all these were like colonial island. है ना? So the name could have been better, but ठीक है जैसा भी. So Shri Vijayapuram is the new name of Port Blair. है ना? Havelock Island is Swaraj Deep. है ना? Ross Island नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र द्वीप और Neil Island is known as Shahid Deep. So they changed the name, but the connectivity is amazing. So optical fiber I've seen from my eyes. And he went to Lakshadweep as well. So in Lakshadweep also network is there. Going to Maldives is easy than Lakshadweep. That's why people go. I think we should make Lakshadweep our Maldives. 2 years back there was boycott India campaign in Maldives. Shifted tourism towards Lakshadweep, but Lakshadweep is not able to absorb. We need water villas there. Then only people will go to Lakshadweep. Plus Maldives is costly. So there's exclusivity. In Lakshadweep, people will not feel that. Okay, so celebs will not go. Okay, policies and regulatory reforms like Telecommunication Act 2023, replacing the colonial era laws, and spectrum reforms, including administrative allocation of certain services, easier compliance norms, reduce regulatory burden, promote satellite communication, important in remote areas, satellite communication. Okay. So connectivity is the need of the hour. Like for example, throughout the day, how will you connect with the world? Okay, can you tell me, when you open your phone, which app feels you like you are connected to the world? Okay, you must have operate certain app when you open your phone, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, है So it's like when you want to see the content, you go to YouTube. Okay, when you chat, you go to WhatsApp. But majorly connecting with the world, like what's going on in other people's life, है So you go to Instagram. That's where you feel. So if you don't have connectivity, है you will feel that you are disconnected with the world, and the growth will not happen. Okay. So PLI scheme for telecom, networking, equipment boost indigenous manufacturing. So yesterday we have seen how many mobile phones we are manufacturing right now, and push for 6G research, indigenous 5G stack development, and growth in data centers as well, digital infrastructure. Everyone was saying India का AI कब आएगा, India का AI कब आएगा. देखो आया है तो it's not bad. And I'm not talking about Galgotia University. 350 crore investment, but yes, the overall I think it was more than expected. If Itiksha is attending the class, she can tell more because she went there, I guess. Okay, DPI integration. Telecom infrastructure underpins India's digital ecosystem, including Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker. So you must have heard about Jam Trinity, Jandan Aadhaar Mobile. Okay. So DigiLocker, how many of you are having DigiLocker? Just write me in the chat box. Do you have DigiLocker? है all documents at one place. Why are आप सभी के पास है? So proud of you. I was not expecting. For the first time, I was not expecting these many yes. Great यार. आज पता है लेक्चर में एक चीज आई थी, जेनजीज वर्सेस मिलेनियल्स. I hope you read my post. I posted on Instagram because I worked with Gen Zs and millennials both. So I shared one or two stories with people working in Gen Z and millennial category. And I feel I'm so proud of Gen Z's generation. They are no shit attitude, and I love that about them. ठीक है, थोड़ा थोड़ा बैकलैश होता है, sometimes difficult to tackle them, but yes, if you feel ever in life, आज मैं ऑडियंस से यही कह रहा था दिन में, अगर आपको लगे ना कि दुनिया में सब पागल है, तो बताओ कौन पागल है. इफ यू फील कि पूरी जनरेशन पागल है, तो कौन पागल है. यू शुड फील कि आपका खुद का दिमाग खराब हो गया है. and I should make certain changes. Or you go to sleep, take some rest. है ना? So instead of making everyone, like when I started my today's lecture, everyone was like थोड़ा थोड़ा रिलैक्स हो गए थे स्लीप, क्योंकि मेरे से पहले जिसकी स्पीच थी ना वो नेता थे. अब नेता आपको पता है कैसी बात करते हैं, वो अपनी बात करते हैं irrespective ऑफ द टॉपिक एंड ऑल. तो उन्होंने सबको सुला दिया था. सो व्हेन आई वेंट टू द पोडियम एंड आई सेड दैट व्हाई शुड पीपल से दैट कोई मेरी बात नहीं सुन रहा, nobody is listening to me. Instead, they should ask themselves why everyone should listen to you. Okay, I hope you can understand. So right now, if you see 31 people attending the session on Zoom, okay, if I see that I am delivering something which you need, and that is why you are here, you are giving your time. ठीक है? So you need to understand these things. ठीक है? सही बात है दोस्तों. I feel that lack of seriousness is there. I'll tell you the reason. Okay, if you have 2 minutes, if you give me 2 more minutes to explain one story, ठीक है ना? क्या मैं 2 मिनट और ले लूं? 2 more minutes. So what happened? If you see your generation, okay, it means you all are part of Gen Zs, है ना? Your generation, before your generation, so you can say your generation is generation, we can say point A, your parents generation is point B, okay, and your grandparents generation is point C, or you can say great grand point D. 4 generation, I hope you must have listened some of the story of these generations. Now the generation people under we can say stage D, these people were only concerned about putting food on table. Okay, food on table. Their primary target is to have lunch, dinner properly. That's it. Your grandfather generation, grandmother generation, they focused on food plus education. Okay, then your parents generation focused on food, education, and standard of living. So current generation has not to worry about these things. That is why they are fearless. They don't afraid. They don't afraid. The reason is simple. If you see things from the perspective of this, that current generation, which we call Gen Zs, they have other things to worry about. And when they get the problem for putting food on table, paying bills, maintaining standard of living, they get tension. And they feel that, oh my God, this is so much of stress. And they can't handle. That is why they are breaking. Do you agree with me? If you don't agree, you can write disagree. When their family faces financial crisis or they themselves faces financial crisis, they go into stress. That's the difference. That's why Gen Zs are fearless. So if they have backing, they don't have to worry about basic things. So those who are partially agree, they can tell their own opinion. Okay. Let's move to information technology. IT sector, again a key driver for export, employment, digital transformation. India has evolved from back office outsourcing to global leader. We have seen multiple times this thing. Software development, AI, cloud computing, emerging technologies, etc., etc. Scale and global position. India is leading exporter of IT enabled service like TCS, Infosys, you must have seen, Capgemini, Tech Mahindra, etc. Sector contributes significantly to GDP. It provides large sector employment, including high skilled jobs in digital technologies. Very important for earning dollars as well for our foreign exchange reserves. Okay. Digital public infrastructure, DPI. India globally recognized digital public infrastructure including Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, ONDC. This ecosystem enables inclusive growth, financial inclusion, scalable service delivery. So digital public infrastructure helping IT industry. Okay. I'll come Divya in a minute. Okay. Emerging technologies like investment push, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain. Now, previously, these were like only definition. Now, in 2026, this is becoming reality. India's startup ecosystem, especially SaaS, you understand? Software as a service, deep technology, etc. Policy and regulated support. So, this is how government can support, like, for example, data protection. If everything is going digital, you're talking to ChatGPT. You must have seen that meme कि भाई सबसे बड़ा एम्बेरसिंग क्या होगा इफ यू रीड माय चैट विथ चैट जीपीटी. एक मेरा दोस्त इतना अकेला था कि वो चैट जीपीटी को लड़की बना के बात करता था. आई हैव सीन हिज चैट्स. एम्बेरसमेंट. सो डेटा प्रोटेक्शन इज इंपॉर्टेंट. साइबर सिक्योरिटी. तो ही वाज प्रैक्टिसिंग चैट. ठीक है. फ्रेमवर्क्स, डिजिटल गवर्नेंस रिफॉर्म्स. Promotion of domestic electronics manufacturing through PLI schemes. Strengthening India's role as trusted global digital partner. So Western countries can also. है ना. चैट जीपीटी को आप चेंज भी कर सकते हो, उसको बता सकते हो कि यू डोंट हैव टू अग्री विथ मी, यू कैन स्कोल्ड मी एज वेल. मेरी वाइफ तो चैट जीपीटी के साथ बहुत खेलती है, बोलती तू बेवकूफ है, कहती है सॉरी ब्रो गलती हो गई, है ना. शी गॉट दिस काइंड ऑफ रिप्लाई फ्रॉम चैट जीपीटी. मैं फिर से करके देता हूँ, बुरा मत मान. है ना. लेट्स रीड व्हाट दिव्या इज सेइंग. वन डे आई रोट द that due to oversleep I'm not able to come, so everybody started laughing next time. हाँ बेटा, सच बोलना तो क्या ही गलत है. ये ना थोड़ा सीरी आ गई है उसको. अब उससे तो अच्छा है ना, टायर पंचर हो गया दिव्या. पीपल से टायर पंचर हो गया. आप लोग भी एआई के साथ. एआई भी बोलता होगा इंडिया इज नॉट फॉर बिगनर्स. एआई ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्स इट्स ट्रेनिंग टॉकिंग टू इंडियन पीपल. उसने ये तो नहीं बोला बाल्टी से भर के पानी लेके आओ. ठीक है. रूरल ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन. सो रूरल ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन हैव सीन मेजर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन through large-scale national mission aimed at improving public health and dignity. The focus has shifted from infrastructure creation alone to service delivery, sustainability, and behavioral change. Okay. Now, drinking water Jal Jeevan Mission launched in 2019, important for tap connection. Okay, functional household tap connection. You must have listened to a meme of I think क्या नाम है स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी, जाकिर जाकिर खान का, ये शायद. वो पूछता है ना किसी से आपके घर में पानी कहाँ से आता है, तो एक बंदी बोलती है टैप से, है ना. या तो फिर शायद वो किसी और का है. तो वही वाला है, ये टैप कनेक्शन देने है ना, बट क्या देने हैं, फंक्शनल. है ना. माय वाइफ शोज मी, मैं अभी अभी जान गया हूँ बहुत सारे स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन को. नहीं तो पाकिस्तान की क्रिकेट टीम काफी है मेरे को हंसाने के लिए. मैं उन्हीं को देख के खुश हो जाता हूँ. बस्सी का था ना, बस्सी, यस, शायद उसी का था. So coverage has expanded dramatically, about 17% to 75%, है ना. हाँ बस देवाशीष मैंने बोला नहीं, मैंने कहा किसी को बुरा ना लग जाए. वी हैव अ फीमेल मेजोरिटी हियर, है ना. Emphasis of source sustainability, water quality monitoring, grey water management, community participation through village water. So these are the things why important, because it enhances the productivity of rural India. And you know that when you see India's economic growth, the potential lies in rural areas. आज एक रिसर्चर से मिला था मैं उनसे, 10 years back I met. 10 साल पहले he was working on poverty. Okay, I met him today, still working on poverty. तो मैंने ना मजाक मजाक में खाना खाते टाइम उनको बोल दिया, मैंने कहा गरीबी पे काम करते करते आप तो अमीर हो गए. मैंने कहा भाई 10 साल में आपने नई कार खरीद ली, सब हो गया. काम आज भी आप गरीबों पे कर रहे हो, गरीबों का तो पता नहीं क्या हुआ, बट यू आर बिकमिंग रिच. मजाक मजाक था, शायद वो बुरा भी मान गया. सो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज दैट if you see village economy, that's where the potential lies. So use of technology for real time monitoring, ये बहुत जरूरी है टू रिमूव करप्शन. इस देश में ना करप्शन बहुत है. इट्स नॉट पॉलिटिशियंस ओनली, एवरीवन इज करप्ट, है ना. आपने वो फेमस सेइंग तो सुनी होगी, पटवारी. आई होप एवरीवन नोस पटवारी. पटवारी क्या होता है ना, पटवारी तो जानते होगे. इट्स अ पोजीशन हु मेजर्स लैंड. तो अगर दुनिया में जमीन खत्म हो जाए ना, फिर भी पटवारी जमीन निकाल सकता है. ये सेइंग है. यस, अजय सान्याल इन धुरंधर. ठीक है, स्टेटस ऑफ टैप वाटर सप्लाई इन रूरल होम्स अंडर जन जीवन मिशन. सो यू कैन सी बिफोर एंड आफ्टर. 3.23 करोड़ हाउस होल्ड, 15.7 करोड़ हाउस होल्ड. अभी डेटा आई हैव नॉट सीन दिस फ्रॉम माई आईज, लाइक what Kejriwal government said that these many classrooms we have built. Recent audit में पता चला वो क्लासरूम्स नहीं थे, वॉशरूम्स थे. तो अब यहाँ पर भी देखना पड़ेगा. दिस आई हैव नॉट सीन फ्रॉम माई आईज. अगर आपने देखा है तो आप बताना. इन रूरल एरियाज इफ टैप वाटर इंक्रीज्ड. सैनिटेशन, ग्रामीण स्वच्छ भारत मिशन, ओपन डेफिकेशन फ्री. आई थिंक दिस द बेस्ट थिंग एवर हैपेंड. When I used to travel to Delhi, nearby area, you always found people defecating in open. Right now, it is like almost shut down. है ना? What you tell? Yes, yes or no, everyone. आपने देखा open defecation? I think it's almost gone. है ना? So 10 years of Swachh Bharat mission, it's like salute to the government and the people. See, government will not be able to do it alone. People have to support. हमको कचरे में रहने की आदत है. So that is why we litter and we live there only. Okay, Devashish, thanks for the feedback. But yes, it's better than before, I feel. है ना, Devashish? Better than before. Phase 2 of open defecation plus focus on solid and liquid waste management. It's very important. Like today, when I was having lunch with 100 plus people, lot of disposal. Mineral water is there. People can't trust other than mineral water, so Bisleri bottles were there. Then the mugs, cups, spoon, all were there. So huge amount of waste. Zomato, Swiggy, जब से बड़े हैं उसमें भी it comes with disposals and all. So plastic waste, grey water treatment, village cleanliness, this is very important. This is phase 2. Okay. Strong focus on behavioral change, communication, community-led models, local governance, institutions play a central role. Okay, so these efforts have improved hygiene, reduced diseases, burden, and enhanced environmental sustainability. Chalo. So even in, I think, Hyderabad, Ravali, you are from Hyderabad. Water resources management sector, irrigation and agriculture, water use, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. This, I love this scheme. So Krishi Sinchai, because that provides irrigation, and that too micro irrigation. Micro irrigation means the technology from Israel, drip and sprinkler, reduce water wastage, improves farm productivity, both. And it protects salinization of soil as well, which is missing here, but you can write salinization of soil. Groundwater management, Atal Bhujal Yojana, community-led sustainable groundwater management in water-stressed area. Emphasis on aquifer mapping, water budgeting, and participatory planning. So it's promote recharge structures, demand side management to curb over extraction. Subsidy, if you reduce subsidy, over extraction problem will go. And this is watershed and rainwater conservation. So I hope you understand rainwater conservation. हम स्कूल में पढ़ते आए ही हैं ये, है ना? So this is how you collect water on roof. Flood management. So you make step by step. Anyone from Rameshwaram, you must have seen those stones covered with net, in flood prone areas. So Rameshwaram, when you go to Dhanushkodi, you will see that. I will say, sir, आप कहाँ गए? मुझे ना travel vlogs देखना बहुत पसंद है. So I see those. Tourism, infrastructure and connectivity push. Very important. Tourism कब बढ़ेगा? When you have good airports, good highways, good railways, waterways. Now, right now, the roads are that decent that people are traveling 400 kilometers without a thought. They just pick up their vehicle and they go. Last mile connectivity is also there. Integration with PM Gati Shakti. So major tourism boost. Swadesh Darshan scheme, heritage sites, coastal sites, desert, etc. Prasad scheme for pilgrimage. And Dekho Apna Desh, domestic tourism, encourages local travel and cultural awareness. India has huge potential. But foreign tourists के साथ हम क्या करते हैं? So that's why foreign tourism goes down. Emerging segments, growth in ecotourism, adventure tourism, wellness tourism, cruise tourism. Cruise, must have seen that cruise. क्या नाम है उसका? Mumbai to Cordella cruise. Cruise tourism is increasing in India. Raising interest in rural and community-based tourism. Created livelihood opportunities. You must have seen tourism with unknown people. So they make a group. In a group, they go, all unknown people, they make new friends. So digital platforms, e-visa facility, etc. Space sector. Hosteler, और I think और एक दो और हैं. Pick your trail है शायद. Establishment of in-space Indian National Space Promotion Authorization Center to facilitate regulate private sector participation. So in space also, we are improving India's space policy, infrastructure we are building, end-to-end private involvement. Okay, like for example, GPS and all. Have you seen one movie? I'm a big fan of John Abraham. So I watched Parmanu. Have you seen Parmanu? Parmanu is a great movie. You must see. So what happened to the satellite? America shifted the satellite for Pokhran, nuclear test. So if we have our own GPS, that will help. Okay. Private sector and startup growth. So this we have seen a lot, especially in space tech, launch vehicle, drone, etc. If you have seen Uri movie, that drone, Garun, okay. So collaboration with ISRO, accelerating technology, commercialization, transfers, etc. So India is again doing a rapid increment in this. Infrastructure capability expansion. Expansion of launch facilities, tracking networks, testing infrastructure. ये इसकी बात कर रहा था मैं. नाविक, navigation. India's indigenous satellite system. 7 satellite series of satellite is there. Navik. So it covers India and neighborhoods. From our own GPS satellites, we can keep an eye on Pakistan. ठीक है. These developments enhance self-reliance and global competitiveness. Conclusion. So you can read this conclusion. Same. And I will dictate the conclusion for you. Okay. So ready everyone to write it? The conclusion we will write. Okay. Okay. You write. The economic survey argues. Economic survey argues. Economic survey argues that India's investment revival. Hinges on India's investment revival hinges on the interplay between healed balance sheets. Okay, healing, घाव भरना. Healed balance sheets, sustained public capex. Healed balance sheets, sustained public capex, and improving infrastructure quality. Put a full stop, change the paragraph. Put a full stop and change the paragraph. Public investment has acted as a confidence building signal. And productivity enhancer. Comma. Crowding in private investment. Rather than displacing it. Full stop, put a full stop, you write. As early signs of private capex revival. Okay, SIGNS. Early signs of private capex revival emerge, scaling infrastructure financing. Through innovative instruments. And strengthening execution capacity. State level execution capacity. You write strengthening state level execution capacity. Will be crucial or important. Will be crucial to sustaining a durable investment cycle. Okay, a durable investment cycle. Okay, so that's it for will be crucial to sustaining durable investment cycle. Thank you, Aditi. So now the forum is open for question and answer. If you have any question, concern, you can ask me. That's it for today.